Okay, so today we're doing brakes on a 2000 what?
2008 Pontiac G6.
Ooh, V6 with 200,000 on it, 200,000 miles. So we are doing brakes, pads and rotors in the front, and sway bar links. So we're gonna take the wheel off. We already got it racked up on the lift. Go ahead and take the wheel off. We're going to take this and push it towards us so we can see what we're working with. A 14 millimeter and removing the caliper bolts. You gotta break it free first. And there you go, now we can hit the trigger.
Sweet. And the top one. Can't push it up on the battery either.
Sweet. So that's our second caliper bolt. Then we're just gonna take a screwdriver. Here we go. Thank you. Kind of pry the caliper off.
Can I put more pressure? I feel like I'm gonna break it.
No, you're not gonna break nothing. Kind of finagle it around in there. And she'll come right off. Ooh, not good. So, if your caliper looks like that, you need to replace it. But we are on a budget. So, go ahead and pull the brake pads off. You might need to push on with a screwdriver.
Oh,
see?
no.
Not too bad. See? Look. Perfect. Bueno. We're reusing the hardware because the new brakes did unfortunately not come with the hardware, but most don't. So we're just gonna put that in place for now. 15 millimeter, make sure it's on reverse. It's on, is he off? We're gonna take the caliper bracket bolts off, yes.
You got it. You're not gonna break it. I got a new one for free. Put your other hand down here.
Alright, get the top one. Push this all the way straight down like that so you can get the best angle. Take the one hand, step back, put the other hand on your car, and use your car to pry on itself. You're not gonna break it. Almost. See? 15, and we're gonna put it on the ratchet to get some speed on this. Go ahead and go all the way. Awesome. I'm gonna put this aside. We're gonna support the caliper as our assistant, our lovely assistant takes that one out. We're gonna pull these pins out, that pin, and then that pin, lube it up, and then we're gonna clean up this caliper mounting slides in the wire wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bueno. Smack it this way. It should pop right off. See?
Oh, holy fuck.
So scaredy cat over here. Go ahead and pull that off. Set that aside. You might have more trouble with yours depending on how old it is. I don't think it's been crazy long since we've had these off. And then the sway bar link is right back here. And we know the sway bar link is bad because on the other side, if you push up, I can feel all kinds of the clunks in between here. So if you push up on the sway bar, you can hear the clunk, and that's the noise she's getting when she's going over all the bumps. So what she is doing is removing the top sway bar end link up here. This is a 19 millimeter. Go for it.
Hammer down. It's coming.
Nice. And we're gonna pop that out with the hammer. She got it stuck in there. There we go. So that, the upper side's out. The lower side's gonna be a little bit more difficult because of the angle we're at here. But what we can do is we can put a wrench on there and get it off. So finagling with the sway bar end link here, as Babe works on this. The ball actually fell out of the knuckle, so which actually worked out for us. So all I have is a ratcheting wrench on this side and a pair of vice grips on this side. And she's almost done because the threads are almost all the way through.
I can't do it anymore.
Why not?
Cause it's literally like I'm losing my strength.
Is it getting tighter?
Yeah.
So as the threads go on, see these threads were kind of clean because they were covered up. As the threads go on, it gets more difficult sometimes. So we're gonna get that off and bust a new one on. Okay, so this is the new sway bar link. We're gonna pull these nuts off, go ahead. I'll hit this side. They don't matter which side you put up first. Some vehicles might, this side is the same. So she is going to put it up in there. So you got the bottom side first. Now we got the top.
Should I smack that in or
No.
just leave it? Okay.
The nut will suck it in.
Okay.
Okay. So on these, it's a little bit nicer than the factory ones because they do have another set of a hex side there. It's not a nut, but something you can hold the wrench on and tighten the other side up with so it doesn't spin on you. The other nuts going on. And these are a smaller size than the factory ones. The factory's 19, these are 17. And we're going to take our 17 millimeter ratcheting wrench and tighten it up. We're gonna switch it to the on position. Alright, so we're tight. We're gonna hit it from the bottom side so we can get some more leverage. Nice and tight. Sweet. So then we just check everything with a wrench. She got a little rust in her mouth. Yep, nice and snug. And anytime the caliper looks like this, the boot is torn and destroyed. But we are not planning on keeping this vehicle, so we just wanted the brake pulsation to go away. So I'm gonna collapse this, make sure it's not seized, and put it back together. Which I would highly not recommend. I would highly recommend replacing the caliper. Next thing I'm gonna do, they make caliper compressors, but I found easiest to just get a big pair of channel locks and squeeze the compressor. As long as it's not the rear brakes, because you have to turn those in. And this one actually seated pretty easily. I'm gonna put them on backwards. First, you spray it with brake clean and you smell it.
Yeah.
We're spraying it with brake clean just to get all the chemicals they put on to prevent rust. She loves smelling this stuff. I'd highly advise it.
Listen to him. It's like if you're addicted to the smell of Sharpies. It smells good.
We're gonna edit that part out.
No.
But yeah, so we wipe it down with any type of brake clean and you're good to go. So we need to make sure where the brake pads will ride is gonna be clean. And then we're gonna take the pins out, make sure they're not seized up. Right now she is cleaning up, making them look all nice and shiny, and losing the old one. That's fine.
Yep. No,
I'll hold on to that.
Yep, you do that. Thanks.
But where the brake calipers ride in here, we want them as clean as possible.
So we can prevent the seizing up. Do you want to pop that back in?
Yes.
Just a little bit. Look at you.
It's like brushing teeth. With steel.
The way you brush your teeth, this is what you need.
Yeah? I like my teeth clean. Nope.
What?
Like this.
Oh.
I'm gonna hold the motor in place. And then I got the bolt in my hand. So go ahead and put that bolt in there.
You have to move it around a little bit. I have to start.
That one's on. Here's the top one. Careful.
I just almost whacked myself in the face.
Did I tell you to be careful?
Yeah, that would have been so horrible.
Top one. When you start getting close, slow down a little bit there. Speed monster. See, that's all you need. And then we're gonna tighten it up with the ratchet. Perfect, socket came off. Snap it on. Here you go. Thank you very much.
Is that why it's called Snap-on?
They were the first tool manufacturer to make sockets that would snap on a ratchet.
Really?
Well, it's called Snap-on, I believe. Probably gonna have 50 million people online tell me I'm wrong, but it's fine.
Okay.
Because, to my knowledge, before each ratchet would have one size on it.
I literally can't. I have no more shame.
And then in the 1900s, early 1900s, when they invented sockets that would snap on, they were like, oh my God, this is awesome. And now they just rob you, because everyone's got sockets that snap on. They tell you everything you want, add a zero behind it, and that's how much they cost. But we're tightening up the lower caliper bracket mount, and then pop it in here. We're gonna put brake parts lubricant, the Ceramic Extreme, my favorite stuff. Never had any issues with this. We're gonna cover this thing up. I'm gonna get the inside as well.
Real nice.
Sometimes they have a little bit of a difference there with a noisemaker. Once you get to a certain depth, these do not, so it does not matter. Gonna pop them in there. Inside one's going in. Squeeze it all together. Go to art class. Especially on the inside, because we're gonna have some movement with the caliper pushing up against it. We're gonna lube it back up, push it back in. The bottom one we're gonna pull off. Take the boot off the caliper pin first, so you don't tear it, and then pull it out. Lube it up. These actually are pretty clean, so we're not gonna sand them down. And then push it in. Then we can put it all back together. My bad.
Yeah, I can't make it go to bed.
So, just tightening up the caliper bolt. Snug. Snug. Spins free. We're gonna clean that up. So we're off as soon as we hit the brakes. We're gonna put the wheel on. We're gonna torque the lug nuts. Nope, you gotta test drive it. The abuse. That was you. Hopefully we can.
So we're gonna torque these to the proper GM torque specification.
The higher she goes, the higher it is. So here, let go. Let it click there. You just push down. There we go. See how nice that was? Make it easy on yourself. Nice.
Nice. Good job, babe.
Thanks.
So we're gonna start the vehicle. We're gonna put our foot on the brake to build pressure. It's gonna go all the way down. It's gonna be normal. We collapse the calipers. We're gonna pump it a couple times. Okay, now we're holding pressure. So now we're just gonna make sure everything's good. We have to follow the correct break-in procedure for new pads, which I will put in this video. It's like start, stop, from 45 to 5, 10 times in a row, and then cruise around on the freeway. So